Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Northernlion. It's Isaac. We won. We got on the horse on the last run. We took the first step. Pardon me, the most important step. I gotta tell you, I gotta describe burp, okay? 9BAGJKQW. So I've been meal prepping. I mean, I've been meal prepping for a decade. But I've been doing it more lately because, you know, I'm a busy guy on days that are not Saturday. And in particular, lunch is like a hassle. For breakfast, I'll just have, you know, like a protein bar or something like that. For dinner, my wife and I will obviously, you know, convene, figure out what we're going to do. I can make it. I can break these cuffs. But lunch has been like... It's been a little bit of a hassle. So for a couple weeks, I've been making this stew in the Instant Pot. It comes out delicious. You know, I'm not going to give you the recipe because the recipe is like, just put beef and vegetables into the Instant Pot and hit the button that says cook. That's basically what it comes down to. And might I add, is delicious. Ooh, you know what? I will. I will. I wouldn't were it not for the Spirit Hearts, but... With the Spirit Hearts existing, oh, absolutely I will. We should be using bombs, like, religiously. But I got a little tired of the stew. I mean, I could probably, without complaining too much, eat... Oh, dude, reroll. We have not had this item maybe the entire time that we've been on this save file. That's incredible to me. So occasionally we will shoot money. The money will do a lot of damage. If it kills an enemy, we get it back. But until we have money, it doesn't do anything for us. I think that's right. Maybe not. It just gives us money. Even better. Money plus damage, I should say. I could probably eat the same meal pretty much indefinitely forever as long as the meal's decent and not complain about it too much. But I was like, you know, let's mix it up. So I Googled recipes for the Instant Pot. I made some... I don't know if this is blasphemy, okay? But I made chicken carnitas. I thought that carnitas was exclusively like a pork thing, but maybe carnitas just means like shredded meat or something like that. And then, I mean, it's just chicken thighs, onions, spices, seasonings, etc., etc. You cook it in the Instant Pot, lay it on top of a tortilla. You have tacos carnitas. Is fantastic. I'm willing to take a stab at this. Sure, we saved the key, basically. And teleport. And it was beautiful. I ate two of those little baby tortillas just before the start of this video. And that's what the burp came from. And it was one of those burps where I was like, hey, happy to see you again. It's delicious. I really, if you are wondering, like, is the Instant Pot worth it? I do, you know, your mileage will vary, I'm sure. My parents bought an Instant Pot, and then, I was like, it's great, right? And they were like, we returned it, after using it like 4 times. To be fair, the Instant Pot is not instant necessarily. Yo. Like, to cook the chicken carnitas, it did take, I mean, the prep, you can't do anything about the prep. So the prep was like 15 or 20 minutes of chopping, right? And then it took about maybe 20 minutes to warm up. And then it took another 20 minutes to cook. But it comes out so delicious. And it's not active cooking time, you know? It's just, you set it and forget it. It's like putting your stuff in the slow cooker at the start of the day. Coming home 8 hours later, you got a delicious white chicken chili or something like that. So with that in mind, I would definitely recommend it. It's not a gimmick, in my opinion. It's just a convenient pressure cooker. And, you know, I grew up thinking that pressure cookers were basically like, if you had one in your house, it was only a matter of time until it exploded and killed you all. Now I'm like, dude, I've been missing out. Almost everything I've made in the Instant Pot has come out delicious. It's kind of like, it's a slow cooker style thing, for sure. Like, if you're in college, or you live with, like, other roommates, and you don't have a slow cooker, you're missing out. Anyway, we don't need to go down this road. It's just, here's the thing. If I went to an actual, like, Mexican restaurant, and I went through the kitchen and found out they were cooking their, carnitas in the Instant Pot, would I be mad? Now, this is where you're expecting a yes. No. If they tasted this dang good, ooh, I'd be mad if they didn't. So far, obviously so good. Like, this is what I expect an Isaac run to be, but also, like, substantially more powerful, to be fair. We got to deal with the devil that actually gave us a usable item at a price. We've had, you know, a couple of tiers upgrades. We got tools, let's put it that way. What we don't have is a map, and as a result, I basically have no idea where we are. But that's okay, too. I think I'll just buy this. Keep ourselves safe, you know? Anyway, that's... I know I'm getting gross on describing the burp at this point, but, like, dude, I gotta tell you, it's delicious. My only regret with the Instant Pot is that because we live in a small place, we got the Instant Pot Mini. And it's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm a hungry boy. You know, I'm trying to... Like, I mean, it's, don't need to get into the specifics of it necessarily too much. I'm always wary about talking about diet, exercise, etc., because it comes across to people who don't do it as being preachy or even braggadocious. That's not really my intention, but, you know, I'm trying to maintain my current weight while also losing a little fat, gaining a little muscle. You're moving the needle a little bit month to month. Why not do, like, a bulk cut cycle? I may at some point in the future, but I'm still at such a... you know, sub-intermediate level. I think that, I don't... It's, you know, I live a flexible life, let me put it that way. I don't want to be beholden. I don't want to be out in, you know, the show floor of PAX and be like, I gotta eat 3,500 calories today. You know, I'd like to keep it a little bit more sustainable, habitual. And if it takes, you know, 10 years to make progress, it takes 10 years to make progress. But anyway, what the point is, I'm eating a lot, okay? Why'd you get me sidetracked? I wish that I'd gotten a larger Instant Pot. But in order to get a larger Instant Pot, we would have to get a larger apartment, and then it's a whole... It's a thing. It's like if you want to invent the universe, or if you want to bake an apple pie, first you got to invent the universe, right? You want a larger Instant Pot, well, first you got to solve the real estate crisis in Vancouver and in British Columbia and the rest of Canada at large, I suppose. You know, it's not that simple. Well, I suppose we could just... move things around, but who am I? The Property Brothers? No, I'm just one man. You know the Property Brothers? Probably, if you've turned on a television or been in a grocery store checkout and looked at the magazine section in the past, like, 10 years. Did you know the Property Brothers are from Vancouver? Wow, pretty cool, right? Not really, because do you know where they live? Los Angeles. That's right. The Property Brothers? Treason. Don't think I'm not paying attention. I'm always paying attention. That sounded more threatening than I had to. I'm not actually mad at the Property Brothers whatsoever. Except for the fact that they're literally on television at all times. But that's so you just change the channel. Whoa, black bean. Na na na. Whoa, black bean. Na na na. Anyway, there's a bit there somewhere, but really it's just like I don't want to take the item. That's basically what it comes down to. Oh, come on. So stingy. You couldn't have just given me 5 cents so I could buy a Spirit Heart? Nah, nah, nah. It's okay. This run is good, and it's good in all the right ways, because it's not so good that we can afford to not pay attention. But it's definitely not like, well, if you know, get 1 or 2 bad items, it's all over. Which I appreciate. I feel like we've been in that situation a lot lately. Things could still change. We are a little light on damage. That's the only one little teensy tiny little bit of complaining that I'll put out there. We could really use a damage upgrade, you know, deal with the devil or otherwise. I mean, we do have... Functionally, like, you're not gonna like this expression if you're in 11th grade math right now, but 45-55, I choose to be the optimist and think of that as 50-50, because we're only flipping the coin once to see if we get a deal with the devil. If we were flipping it a billion times, I'd be like, yeah, I expect 45% of them to come out, you know, no devil, and 55%, or 45% of them to come out devil, 55% of them to come out no devil. But if we're only flipping it once, it's a situation where I got no mathematical, probabilistic problem having hope, and it turns out that I am correct. But our items maybe not exactly what we're looking for. Oh, that was a little dangerous, but hey, look at that. Okay, lump of coal is exactly what we want. We have two things that warrant our attention. Really, I think at this point is what's better, Black Bean or My Shadow. I think My Shadow is slightly better, but I'm hoping the reroll here would turn this into a different deal with the devil item. It did. Okay, where are we going from here? That's, I've talked about it. If I've talked about it once, I've talked about it 1,000 times. We need to restructure crawl spaces in this game. I dream of a world where the crawl spaces are good for everybody, not merely the 1% of people. It's supposed to be Bernie Sanders. It's not a very good impression. Really, is more like John F. Kennedy. Like a lot more. like the exact same as the John F. Kennedy voice I do sometimes. And then people go, well, that sounds a little bit like Bernie Sanders. Anyway, let's not get into it. Yo, dude. I was in the middle of doing some cool stuff there. You had to go insert yourself. I'm helping. You're not helping. Well, right now, this is like, it's the worst of both worlds and slightly dangerous, but where's the secret rooms? Why did I have the bowl, Bart? Then why did I have the bowl? I really just want the regular secret room. It really was there. We just didn't place our first bomb close enough. I want to buy a battery charge. Well, that's not going to help too much, but I mean, it will help long term, I suppose. Really want to buy a battery charge so that I can re-roll the shovel. But I'll tell you one thing. It looks like we're going to be stuck with Black Bean. Please. Oh, baby. We might... we might have cheated the system. Okay. I mean, this ignores the fact that our HP is pretty delicate right now, but that's okay. One thing's for certain, I think. We're still taking Black Bean. I need you to pay out with a battery charge, please. Or, you know, a 7-cent good item would also be fine. You know what? Sure, 3 cents for a random item, and it ends up being Sackhead, and it ends up not giving us a battery charge, but another key is still very good. Like, this is completely changing the architecture of this run now. I know we're taking a long time here, but we can also get items if they're doubly on sale. We can get them for 3 cents, and we got a ton of bombs, so I figure, you know, why not leverage it? There was one good reason not to leverage it. We could have gotten a battery charge on the cheap, but I think this is still pretty awesome, obviously. So just post up here. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, I can't be too mad. This really helped me get where I needed to go. And then the shovel, literally whatever it rerolls into. Yeah, it's not amazing, but by definition, like, it's at least we're using it. Okay. This, in my opinion, might be the most pivotal floor. Please don't shoot. This is the floor where we got... Oh, dude, this is so good. We got such a low amount of HP. But enough to survive a hit or two. Careful with the Bob's brain there. And on top of all that, we also have just an actually, like, incredible... Judgment. Sorry, buddy. Gotta blow you up. An absolutely incredible amount of future potential. I thought it might work. I took a chance. Like, Sackboy plus Rune Bag is insanely good. That's why I'm actually content to use the Sun card right away, because, like, we're gonna get runes that will help us out regardless. We might as well use the stuff we got. It's like having potions or syringes in Streets of Rogue, you know? Rather than just hold them forever, we might as well actually get something out of them. You know a game's starting to worm its way into my psyche when I start to reference it? In Isaac, this, you know, we've done it for Slay the Spire, we've done it for Gungeon all the time. Yikes, that was close. Black Rune, very good. Very good in conjunction with the D6. We're definitely gonna go to our shop first. Boy, oh boy. I would love to just buy, like, 3 Spirit Hearts. You're not Greed, which owns, but you're not really helping too much. Let's buy Starter Deck. And the Death card, certainly not bad, but unfortunately it appears we will still continue to be in a delicate situation until we get the most clutch all stats upgrade in recent memory. Alright, alright. Now, I don't take this for granted at all. I am, and it's not even that good of a stats upgrade. It's really, that was just an HP upgrade, and I'm happy to see it. See, this is the Isaac I missed. The Isaac that made me think I was gonna die, and then brought me back from the brink by carrying me, instead of the one that actually fulfilled, the role it has as the antagonist by, like, literally murdering me in the game. This is much more my speed. Make me and the viewers think that we're toasted, and then actually just give us brimstone. Yeah. It's... I know that... Why would you ever deliberate on an item like that? Well, because a reroll... Well, first off, our tiers were already pretty good. But then secondly, the reroll could give us HP, which is a little bit more mission critical. But, hey, you don't lose anything by deliberating, you know? Well, that's not true. I'm actually, like... My philosophy is, like, very much the opposite a lot of the time. I think taking your time to... I think it's important to deliberate important decisions, which is maybe a truism, / definitely a truism. But I think a lot of people overestimate the number of decisions in their life that are actually important, you know? Let me hit you with one, okay? What's more important? Where you go to college? Let's assume you're gonna go to college, which I'm not saying, you know, you have to. But what's more important? Where you go to college or what you study in college? My personal 2 cents... What you study in college matters literally like 100-fold more than where you go. Sure, depending on where you go, I mean, the programs might be better or worse, but I mean, like, if you're debating between Caltech and MIT, you know, I think as adults we have like backwards rationalization sometimes. Well, if I had gone to, you know, school X, then this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't. I wouldn't have met Jeremy. Jeremy ended up starting blah blah blah. Okay. Not wrong. Oh, dude. Dude. That was a risky reroll that ended up being just incredible for us. Now we're delicate on HP again. But it's kind of like, you know... I don't want to sound unsweet or unsentimental here. But you ever notice, like, you know, and I think about my hometown, I'm like, how many people ended up being, like, best friends with the first person in geographic distance to them that is, like, close to their age? It's like a high percentage of people. And, like, what percentage of people met their soulmates in my hometown when they were in high school? We went to a high school that had a graduating class of 80 people. So, you know, realistically, at maximum, you're looking at 40 potential romantic partners. And people are like, this is my soulmate. I'm not trying to beat you down with some Neil deGrasse Tyson analytics. If anything, I think what I'm hitting you with is a hopeful element. And the hopeful element is like, okay, you know, maybe if you weren't born in Sarnia, you wouldn't have met Derek. However, you know, instead you would have been born in Edmonton and you would have met Joey, you know? And it's not to say that Derek and Joey are equals, but, you know, you'd grow in different ways. You know, I think human beings are flexible is what I'm trying to say. I think you could make it, if you can make it work in, you know, one city in your country, I think you can make it work in just about any city. But I'm speaking, I guess, specifically for Canada. Regardless, though, I think, you know, I don't get, I make hasty decisions all the time. But I don't make hasty decisions in important aspects of my life. Usually. I mean, that's true for the most part, I think. This is just use everything you got. Dude, we want the HP. No, we don't want the HP because we're going to lose empty... No, we don't lose empty vessel because we have 1 HP. No, we don't lose empty vessel because we have Spirit of the Night. So we lose the invincibility. But we don't lose the... we don't lose anything else. We don't lose the flying because we already have it. So empty vessel actually, to be fair, is not that good. The invincibility is really nice. But for now, it's not that good, I should say. I got a level with you. I want the stats. Yes, we could have gotten free items from our next shop, but I actually think the stats are worth... I mean, the prospect of a random stat upgrade was worth more to me. Now, knowing it was speed, maybe I would have swung for the fences, but it is what it is. Anyway, I don't want to give out too much life advice. I kind of like... You know, I lucked out, more or less. I was born at the right time to... get involved in this weird career. I will say, you know, I was lucky to start doing YouTube and Twitch when I did. I'm very thankful every day that I actually did. Let me hydrate here. But, you know, me and the people that came up with me. Came up in this case, it means like who rose with me. Not like devised the idea of me. Just in case you're confused about Ryan's idiom hour. You know, we grew up in a unique scenario that no longer exists, where nobody knew you could actually make a living doing what we did. You know, there were like 1 or 2 dudes who were like, yeah, I don't really know, like... Blip TV pays me, you know, 45 bucks a video. And we're like, oh my god, 45 bucks a video. And you come out with what? A video a week? My god. Start crunching the numbers on that one. I could buy a AAA video game once every 2 weeks. Mom and dad can handle the groceries. You get the idea. Nowadays, and this is not like, oh, kids these days. It's like it's a very positive thought, you know. Kids these days, maybe they're like 8 or 9. They're like, when I get older, I'm just gonna not even take a chance on this one right here. When I get older, I want to be an influencer, and it's like, you know, it's a very risky career, to be honest. But no one could ever say that it's not viable, you know. There's people out there making, like, you know, professional athlete money. Streaming and making YouTube videos. Which is kind of absurd. But at the same time, it's cool. I mean, I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody, you know, who has, you know, questions that are like, hey, you know, I'm starting a YouTube channel. Any advice for me? First off, like, it is always harder than it's ever been, you know? My major advice for starting a YouTube Twitch channel is not like actually actionable advice about what to do. Is that you should pretend like you have, expect to have like a less than 1% chance to actually make it into your job. Pursue it with passion, for sure. Let's just pick it up. Well, we know that we can at least re-roll it. We know we can re-roll it. Did not re-roll it. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not because we already have piercing shots, but what are you going to do, right? Sorry, I didn't finish my train of thought. But do something else as well. That's the big one I want to iterate, I guess. Is like, or I want to iterate upon. Is like, I'm not saying don't start your YouTube channel, your Twitch channel, blah, blah, blah. But I think in the modern day, like, and even it should have been like this back then too, but there's so much competition. I think you should, like, you know, especially if you're young, you got a lot of energy, and like, don't take us the wrong way. When you're younger, you got a lot of free time. I see some of you in Twitch chat, and you're like, hey, is anybody else beating the new Fire Emblem? And I'm like, that's an 80-hour game. It came out 6 days ago. If you got that kind of time, you got the kind of time to, you know, pursue, you know, what I would describe as like a normal, more stable career. That's kind of like more guaranteed, if that makes sense. And then also in your off hours, you know, buy the Twitch lottery ticket. It's not really fair to call it a lottery ticket, but, you know. I think anybody that has gotten to where they are on Twitch and they're very successful and they don't think that they had a, you know, luck played a role to some extent. I think it's ignorant and a little self-inflated. So, like, you know, if we had a kid and our kid was like, Dad, I want to be like a YouTuber, Twitch streamer. First off, that kid's got a big leg up thanks to nepotism, assuming, you know, I'm still around, which is awesome for us and terrible for everybody else. But anyway, I would be like, that's cool. I'll show you the ropes. Here's the do's and the don'ts. But also, absolutely not. You're going to, you know, get your, you know, your guild certification to be an electrician or something like that. You know, have a, not even a backup plan, but have like the Twitch and YouTube stuff be a backup plan. And then, hey, you know, maybe you're 21 and all of a sudden you're the 15th best Fortnite 4 player in the world and you're, you know, getting a lot of popularity. Sure, you know, I can't really be the guy who's like, you know, don't pursue that, because I pursued that and, you know, it's worked out pretty well for me. But, like, you know, don't be the guy who's like, hey, I'm not doing anything. Like, my career's not really making it on Twitch and YouTube right now, but I'm going to give it, like, you know, 3 years of full-time effort to see if it works. As if you're in this photo and you don't like it, I'm not trying to be mean. I hope it works out for you. Just, I think the older you get, you know, to some extent, you have a little bit less risk tolerance. And I'm like, man, like a couple of years I don't want to say spinning your wheels, but I don't know, I kind of equate it to like becoming like a professional athlete or something like that. So I apologize if this seems like harsh truth. It's not my intention. I'm not the guy who's like, I'm just telling it like it is. I don't like to be that guy. But, you know, if you're, you know, a good hockey player, and then you know you do okay in junior, but you don't really get drafted, and you're like, you know, 19. It's a harsh dose of realism, but you know, you can still kind of pursue the professional hockey stuff. But eventually, people are going to be like, hey man, you can't spend, you know, 7 hours a day in the weight room. Like, you gotta get a real job to support yourself. The hockey stuff, you know, is looking increasingly unlikely to happen. We'd all like to see it happen, but simultaneously, like, at some point you gotta start laying your own safety net underneath you. You know what I mean? Even people who are in this profession and are doing pretty well, I think, should be putting their safety net underneath them. But that's, you know, it falls on deaf ears enough that I don't even want to mention it again. Okay, this run has really obviously started to pop to an absurd degree. I don't know how much HP we have, so I think we will just ignore those items because we got the win sewn up one way or the other. You know, I get it, it's hard. What's weird is, like, you know, I love the duties of my job 100%, but there are definitely days where, like, I wouldn't say I fantasize about it, but it's more like some days when, you know, community is very riled up, or, you know, there's big controversy on Twitch, and, like, people, just everybody on Twitter has to get their 2 cents. Meow, meow, meow. It's kind of an insulting sound to make, but you get the idea. I'm like, man, wonder what it's just like today to have, like, a Thursday, and you're just, like, in your office, and then, like, 5 p.m. rolls around and you go home. What's that like? And then on the weekend, you get 2 days off instead of 1. But, you know, one of the few strengths I have in doing what I do. I mean, there's a couple. One of them is I know how to never shut up, which I think is really valuable. Then another one I think is, like, I've never lost touch with the fact that, you know, this is a cushy job, and, you know, along with the fact that the duties of the job are easy, I'm compensated, like, more than fairly, to be frank. And then on top of that, like, every day people tweet me out of the blue and are like, hey, like, I love you. You know, those are pretty good positives for a job to have. But there are some days where I'm like, I don't want to trade places, but if we could just, like, if I could just have, like, 25 minutes of your life right now, where you're like, oh, it's 4:50, it's quitting time, I'm just gonna go home and soak a bath. But I mean, it's kind of nonsense, because I could actually just do that, but it would involve, you know, logging off from the internet, which I've been doing a better job of doing, but it takes a while to get that habit, you know, because since I was like 11 years old, whenever I got even the slightest hint of boredom, it's like, let's just refresh the same 8 pages on the internet for 12 hours. Not 12 hours anymore, but 12 hours, you know, when I was 14, 15 at least. Only 11 and a half hours now. Okay, I'm actually, like, a little concerned about our HP. Whether I should be or not, I think I should be a little bit. This run did not really get to a defensively great spot before we got to this point. But, I mean, it's still an amazing run, and we should win, but I'm just saying, don't be... Oh, defensively, we're fine. I apologize for making it seem like we weren't. Okay. This is huge. So, obviously, very good. Very good. Very good. Good enough. Everything else, I'm not actually gonna reroll. Well, let's, you know, if we reroll, we get 4 new items, and we get to keep the D6, but we lose the Forget-Me-Now. If we Forget-Me-Now, we get 4 new items, but we don't get to keep the D6. So actually, now that I've puzzled it through in my head for about 2 seconds, figured we were actually way better off not taking the Forget-Me-Now. I'm glad I crunched the numbers. We also then got D20, which is, of course, just unbelievably great. Not D20, 2020. Ansus? Ansus, dude, that's like the ideal rune right now. Thank you. Alright, so this is another good run. We had to play, I don't know, we had to play like a 5 out of 10 level to make it work, but that's right in the sweet spot. I'm a happy man. The Ace of Hearts. I don't even care about the other, whether it's alges or not, like, we are absolutely in control. Oh, dude, it feels good. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episodes. 2 wins in a row. A landmark streak for us. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For the next watch, I'll see you next time. See ya.